This is Channel 8, the local sports network. We broadcast local sport around the northern Melbourne Diamond Valley area. Thank you for joining us. I am Chukka Wilson, the Managing Director of Sports Production at Channel 8, and today I will be your host and lead commentator. We are of course joined with our partners Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio, and I welcome you to this broadcast. Today we are going to be watching Diamond Creek versus Riverside in the Barclay Shield round 10 here at the stunning Coventry Oval. This is the 2017-18 season, and today is the 10th of February 2018. This is a two-day clash between first place and fourth place in the Barclay Shield, with just one round to go after this before the finals in mid-March. I welcome you to this broadcast here on Channel 8, the local sports network. So, we are here at the Coventry Oval in the heart of Diamond Creek because we are about to see a two-day clash in the Barclay Shield, the second last round before the finals. So we're currently in mid-February and the finals are in mid-March. So with 2 games to go, and they're both 2 days, that means there are 4 weeks to go before the finals, so it's all coming towards an end. Today we are going to be watching Diamond Creek versus Riverside. Riverside are in first place, way on top of the ladder. They are destined to win the minor premiership and destined to host the semi-final of 1v4. Diamond Creek are presently in fourth place. They are 1 game ahead of the team in 5th place, which means if they lose, they are in risk of getting leapfrogged and losing their position in the top 4. But if they win today, they can almost guarantee that they will be in the finals. This is Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I am your host, lead commentator, Chukka Wilson. Thank you very much for joining us today. Now, as you might be able to see and you might be able to hear, it is currently raining. it is currently drizzling all over the Coventry Oval and all over Diamond Creek. And it's not very heavy rain, but it is annoying. It is very annoying rain. It's heavy enough that if play was called off, you wouldn't be allowed to start it because it's that heavy, but it's not heavy enough that it's causing any great nuisance. Like, you would have to go outside wearing an umbrella, but if you had to, walk down the shops and you forgot to bring your umbrella, it would not cause you any hardship. So it's intermediate. It's light rain. It's petty. It's annoying, but it's not burdensome. It's not going to, ruin anything. But certainly, it's heavy enough that you can't be playing cricket on it for any length of time. So we're just going to be hoping that the rain dissipates over the next hour, because currently we are just approaching the time of about midday. Let's just have a look at the exact time, and it is almost precisely midday. My clock says 11:59. So with that in mind, let's just have a look at what we're expecting for the weather today. Now, it was the Weather Bureau said that last night was 21 degrees, which I can testify that was pretty much accurate. And today is going to be a top of 33. There is a 50% chance of rain, and the rain would be 0 to 3 millimeters. It says it will be partly cloudy with a thunderstorm in the afternoon and evening, and with a afternoon cool change. In the morning there will be a northerly breeze of 15 to 25, and then in the afternoon there will be a south to southwesterly 20 to 30. So from the Weather Bureau, it suggests that today is going to be a traditional day that you see in Melbourne a lot in the summer, where it's quite, you get the hot northerly breeze through the course of most of the day, through the course of the morning, and then by the time the evening strikes, the hot northern wind is gone, and you get the cold southerly breeze that comes across the area, the city, and everything is cool. Now, that's what the Weather Bureau said, but we're not really getting that. Instead, it's the weather has turned from humid to hot to raining all immediately of a sudden, and it doesn't actually appear like the day that was forecast. So instead, it seems like the rain has just come much earlier. So instead, we have it extremely humid this morning, it's very cloudy this morning, and now the rain has come rather than in the afternoon or evening. The rain has actually come in the morning. Now, it might be wet. In terms of the wind, it might still happen. We might still have a southerly breeze over the course of this evening. But in terms of the rain, because the weather forecast said a thunderstorm is expected in the afternoon and evening, and we're already getting light rain, so we'll just have to see. So that's the situation. As you can see right now, the Diamond Creek team are doing their first exercises of the morning or of the game, so just doing a light jog around the oval, and then they'll go into the nets to do some batting and bowling practice very soon. So it suggests that Diamond Creek are pretty much comfortable with what the weather is right now. They aren't too frustrated or worried. The fact that they've been willing to run around in the rain and kick the football around suggests that it's not getting in their way, it's not a nuisance. So that's a very good sign. It suggests that if everything happens the way that it's currently looking to happen, we should not get too much of an interference in terms of actually seeing some cricket today. Let's just have a look at what the weather was like over the course of this week, because we've seen, this week we've seen a lot of dry weather, a lot of hot weather, and then suddenly, today it's gotten a lot more humid, it's gotten more overcast, and now we've seen the rain happen. So that suggests a bit of a change in the atmosphere from what we've seen through the course of the week. So let's just have a look at it. So we have not seen a single millimetre of rain over the course of this week. Last Saturday was 28, Sunday was 25.7, Monday was 25.7, Tuesday was 29.9, Wednesday was 37, Thursday was 27, Friday was 25. 0 millimeters of rain throughout the entire week, and it was mostly dry, a dry heat. So it wasn't that uncomfortable because there was no humidity around. So even though it got quite hot over the course of the middle of the week, it wasn't too much of a nuisance. So now we've seen a lot of much different type of weather. Right now it feels in the high 20s, but there's a cool breeze which is making it feel more like it's in the low 20s. So depending on whether the wind is blowing or not is a sign of how hot it feels. And the rain is just picking up its in intensity right now, but everything's going fine. We still have not seen anything from either the Riverside team or the umpires. They have not stepped out of the pavilion yet, and so we have not got a single thing to say about them yet. But I think that's all that we can be said of the weather. It's pretty clear that if things continue to improve, then there should be nothing stopping play from starting at the scheduled time of 1 o'clock. If the rain gets worse, which is that there's always an chance of that, then we might actually see play get delayed. But the middle ground of that is if the weather stays the same, and that would be interesting because, like I said, like I showed you, the Diamond Creek team are happy to do their exercises in this rain, which suggests that it's not too heavy for them to run around in. But the question is it too heavy or is it not too heavy for some cricket to happen? And so that's what we're going to have to find out over the course of this next hour, when the umpire has a look at it and has to make a decision. So we'll keep on top of that over the course of this next little while, and then we'll come back to it probably when the toss happens, because then we'll know. Because if the toss is delayed, then that suggests that the umpire has made a decision that play needs to be halted for now. Anyway, that's all that needs to be said about the weather, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we've got more of the morning show. This is Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners, Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. We are here to watch round 10 of the Barclay Shield in the 2017-18 season. Diamond Creek versus Riverside at the beautiful Coventry Oval here on the 10th of February 2018. Alright, let's take a break now. We'll come back. We've got more of the morning show.
In the field of shadows, where flowers stand like trees, by the cover of a willow, he got down on his knees. He buried all of his hopes and dreams there beside the quiet stream, and waited for the summer to make 'em bloom. With the shovel in his sore hands, he dug a hole so deep plans and sat him down to sleep. The secret thoughts, yeah, they all went down, buried in the stony ground, and waited for the summer to make them bloom. Maybe hope is shallow, 'cause nothing ever grew. The ground laid fallow, only dirt beneath his shoes. Some dreams are just meant to stay alone inside a padlocked cage. The seed is dead and broken, will never bloom. The seed that's dead and broken will never bloom.
Alright, so this is Diamond Creek versus Riverside in the Barclay Shield. So Riverside are in first place and they are in a position to secure their minor premiership and host the 1v4 semi-final. Diamond Creek are currently in fourth place and they are just one game ahead of the team on fifth place. So if they lose this game, they are at risk of getting leapfrogged, and if they are able to win this game, then they almost are in a position to cement their place in the finals. So now let's just have a look at the ladder to get a full picture of everything that I'm talking about. So as I said, Riverside are way on top. They are more than a game ahead. They are on 8-0, having not dropped a game this season yet. And they've won all games except for the one that was rained out, that was heated out at the start of this year. So 51 points, which means, and with a percentage of a whopping 219, which is almost statistically ridiculous. But there you go, 219. Then we have in second place Montmorency, who haven't got the extra draw, because most teams during the round when there was a lot of rain and most of day one was lost, apart from the first couple of hours. So that was a few weeks ago when the rain came at around the drinks break. So the first quarter of the day's play had happened and then the rest of the day's play had lost. So that was about 60 overs lost. And for most games across the entire competition, that was just too much of a game lost. And of course that meant that compulsory closure was gone, and that's why they had to just play for a draw. So that's why when you look at this ladder, most teams have two draws, because there's one draw caused by the heat in our first game back in 2018, and the second draw is caused by that rain that came around the drinks break. Now, what is unique about Riverside is they were actually able to win that game where the rain came and took away 60 overs the first drinks break. So that's why Riverside have that extra win and only one draw than the other teams. So that's why Montmorency have 2 draws, and that's why everyone else has 2 draws right down until we get to North Eltham. So then we have McLeod, who have 4 wins, which include a outright win. And then we have they have 3 losses with 2 draws, giving them 34 points. And Montmorency and McLeod have an identical percentage of 118, but because McLeod have lost a couple of extra games, they are behind Montmorency, and despite that outright win, which gives them extra points, they are still behind. Then we get to Diamond Creek, who are on 30 points with a 4-3 record of 2 draws. So because McLeod got an outright win, but Diamond Creek didn't, that's why McLeod has the 4 extra points than Diamond Creek. But notice that Diamond Creek has a far superior percentage, so if anything ever happened that Diamond Creek were forced to be on level peggings with anyone, they would pretty much beat everyone. Currently, they have the second highest percentage, and they're not going to be tied with Riverside. So if Diamond Creek are ever tied with anyone, it's going to result in Diamond Creek getting the advantage. So then we get to the outside of the finals, the bottom 6, and for the first 2 teams, we've got Bandura and Rosanna, who have a 3-4 record with 2 draws. And that gives them 24 points. And Bandura is only in 5th place because they have a better percentage of 88 versus 85. So if Bandura or Rosanna were able to win a game here, and then Diamond Creek lost today, then they would all be on equal points of 30 coming into the final game, and then Diamond Creek would realise that they had to win the final game of the season in order to get into the finals. Then as we go further down the ladder, we have North Eltham Wanderers, who have an extra draw, but they have a 2-4 record, giving them 21 points with a percentage of 100. Then we have Epping with a 3-5 record with just the 1 draw, giving them 21 points also, and their percentage is only 83. And then Lower Eltham have a 2-5 record with 18 points, and then the lowest is the Old Paradians, who have a 1-7 record, and amongst those 7 losses, they lost to McLeod outright. They gives them 9 points with just a percentage of 53. So there you have it. That gives you an understanding of just where everything is in place. Definitely Diamond Creek can use a win today to guarantee their position in the finals, and they might even be due to play Riverside in the 1v4 semi. But considering the fact that McLeod are only currently 4 games in front of Diamond Creek and are only those 4 points in front because of the outright win, it means that there could be a situation where Diamond Creek are able to overtake McLeod, get into 3rd place, and then go to Montmorency to play in the 2v3 semi-final. So that might happen. But let's just have a look at what's happening also over the course of the rest of the Barclay Shield home and away, just to give you a better sense of whether there is a risk of Diamond Creek getting leapfrogged and missing out on the finals. Now, we don't have, unfortunately, I don't have McLeod's fixture in front of me, so I can't figure out whether or not it's going to be possible for Diamond Creek to get over and leapfrog McLeod. But what I can tell you is whether or not there's a risk of either Bandura or Rosanna actually overtaking Diamond Creek over the course of these next 2 rounds. So currently we're in round 10. Bandura have so let's have a look at round 10 and round 11. So let's first of all look at Bandura. So Bandura are first of all playing against the Old Paradians in round 10, and then they are playing against the North Eltham Wanderers in round 11. So both of those games they should be able to win. Certainly they should be able to beat Old Paradians comfortably, and then they are well and truly favourites to beat North Eltham Wanderers. Even though North Eltham Wanderers have a very similar points to them, they are still they're still in front on terms of the ladder. So you could almost guarantee in pen that they're going to beat the Old Paradians, but the North Eltham Wanderers is certainly an open game. Okay, so then let's have a look at the other team. Let's have a look at Rosanna. And Rosanna also have a couple of games that they should be able to win. First of all, they've got Lower Eltham. Now, Lower Eltham is not quite an open game, and it's not quite a ride down in pen game, but Rosanna are clearly the favourites against Lower Eltham, so you would expect them to win that game. And then the final game of the season, we've got Rosanna versus the Old Paradians. So the Old Paradians are actually playing against both these two teams that are trying to leapfrog Diamond Creek. So what this means is that if an outright win happened, where either Bandura or Rosanna beat the Old Paradians outright in the next couple of rounds, then there could be a situation where not on wins, losses, and then percentage, but on points, Diamond Creek got leapfrogged. So that is that's certainly a possibility. It's not exactly likely. Now, the other thing to consider is what's going to be happening next round for these two teams. So depending on whether or not they win this round, Diamond Creek and Riverside, to see whether or not they are in a position to close out the home and away finals well. So Diamond Creek have got their final game against Epping, who are just in 8th place, which they should be able to win, which would guarantee their spot in the finals, you would feel. So if Diamond Creek win this game, the only way they could be, if Diamond Creek are able to beat Epping next round, then and even if they lose this game to Riverside, it means that they could only get leapfrogged by Bandura or Rosanna through outright win because of their percentage is superior. So that is definitely the game for Diamond Creek to win, to get a spot in the finals and to have everything wrapped up. As for Riverside, they have a tough final game. So right now they're playing 4th place, so they're playing a team in the top 4. And then next round they also have Montmorency, who are in 2nd place. And so either Diamond Creek or Montmorency could be their opponents come time for the finals. And so they do not have a comfortable and easy and jovial end to the home and away season. They've got a couple of tough games, and it's going to be a question of, they've already gotten 8 zip right now. The question would be, can they hold to that WL count? Can they hold up to this winning streak? And can they close out this season without dropping a game? Or will things start to fall apart? Will questions be asked? And will difficulties start to emerge? And there's that possibility of that happening through the next couple of games, because they will be tough. So from what I can see, from what we've looked at so far, you'd have to say that the chances of Diamond Creek not getting into the finals are very remote. it's almost guaranteed, because even though obviously Rosanna and Bandura have some good games, winnable games come the end of the season, the fact of the matter is that being on a lower percentage, being a game behind, with only 2 games to play, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to win. Verging on impossible, and as long as Diamond Creek are able to put up a competent performance today, and then win the game against Epping next week, it should ensure that they get their spot in 4th place, and then we'll be seeing a Diamond Creek v Riverside semi-final in the semi-final weekend. And the only variable then is a question of if Diamond Creek could beat Riverside in this game and then beat Epping in the next game, they could get into 3rd place. But we'll just have to wait. Like I said, I do not have McLeod's the rest of the season in front of me, so I can't tell you whether or not McLeod could be in a position where they could be overtaken by Diamond Creek. But anyway, that's all to think about, particularly at the end of this game. Let's wait till the end of this game to figure out whether or not it's mathematically possible for Diamond Creek to leapfrog McLeod and get into 3rd place. Alright, let's take a break now, and when we come back we've got more of the pre-game show. This is Channel 8, the local sports network, in association with our partners Bizz 99.9 FM Substitute Radio. I'm Chukka Wilson. Don't go away, we've got more of the morning show after this break.
Pack your bags and leave this town. I don't wanna see you coming round. No, I don't wanna waste my precious time again. With the Star Trek sticker on your Cadillac, I don't wanna see you coming back. No, I don't wanna see your gloomy face again. Waiting takes more time than letting go. Sitting at a stop sign, wasting time when I'd rather be speeding on the 99. This relationship just won't shift out of neutral. You say that you will be ready soon, but I've already heard that tune, and I don't think you're ready for a new role. Waiting takes more time than letting go. Waiting takes more time than letting go. Take your car or hop a train, call a cab or fly a plane. I'm sick of waiting in this intersection. Waiting takes time and I ain't got my shirt all buttoned and my shoes all knotted, and I gotta start moving in some big direction. Waiting takes more time than letting go. Waiting takes more time than letting go. Away and get your foot off all my brakes and go.
And welcome back. Well, a lot has happened during that break. First of all, the rain has stopped, so after 90 or so minutes of drizzle, of that awkward middle range rain where it's heavy enough that it's causing a nuisance but not heavy enough that it would stop you from going about your day walking down the street. That stopped, and now there's no more rain. The only water that's hitting the ground now is the leftover residue from the rain hitting roofs and trees, and then it's slowly dripping down. And so that's the only rain that's currently anywhere on the ground, anywhere that's falling down. And the clouds are still there, so we still have mostly overcast conditions. It's just a variation of the same type of grey. There's not really a variation of light grey and dark grey. It's mostly the same colour, and it's just a matter of the sun hitting the clouds on different angles to whether or not it's bright or it's dark patches of cloud. But more or less it's it's light grey cloud throughout most of the ground. So let's just have a look, take this opportunity to have a look at the two teams. Oh, I forgot to mention, the other thing that's happened is that Riverside have come out onto the ground, so currently they're doing their pre-match stretches over there. And it's only going to be a matter of time before they start to do their preparations in terms of going to the nets and having a hit and everything. So now we've seen Riverside have come out of the pavilion, shown themselves. Diamond Creek are currently in the nets having a hit, and so all of the pre-match work is getting underway. There are a few officials that are checking on the pitch to see how much of how much water has been absorbed by the carpet, as to whether or not there's anything hazardous going on. But because this ground is AstroTurf, and because this is a turf, this is not a turf pitch, this is a carpet pitch, it should mean that over the course of the next hour, things should dry out enough that play could start more or less on time. Okay, now let's have a look at the 11s. So let's start off by looking at the home team, Diamond Creek's 11. So there is the wicketkeeper, Thomas McLean, Justen B, Damien. One of the interesting inclusions is Lachlan Devine, who had been playing for the 2s, is now playing this game for the 1s. Then we have the captain, Joshua Adams, who we happened to see a couple of nights ago in the 2020 game that we broadcast here on Channel 8. Then we've got Dale Campbell, another one that we saw. Then we've got Jacob Ramsey, Michael Hansen. Another inclusion from the 2s is Bradley Shallard. And then we've got Luke Campitelli and Dylan Badurk. And that's Dylan Badurk is another inclusion. So that means that there's 3 inclusions from the 2s that have made their way into this team for the 1s. Now, what the motivation is behind this, I don't know. Maybe they're making sure, maybe because they know that they're going to get into the finals, they're playing some extra players in these last home and away games so that they qualify for the finals, so that if anything happens, that Diamond Creek are capable of having an 11, but that doesn't make any sense because qualification only works upwards, not downwards, so that doesn't make any sense. Okay, well maybe there's just some absentees caused by one reason or another, but that's forced Diamond Creek to fill up the gap in their 11 with players from the 2s. who would otherwise who are now playing in the twos, who would otherwise be playing in the twos. Okay, so now let's have a look at Riverside's team. So Riverside have the captain, Nicholas Austin, Daniel Cohen, the wicketkeeper, Elliot Smale, Nathan Bragg, Nicholas Gedge, Sean Money, Timothy Knox, Andrew Villani, Stephen Villani, Christopher Salm, and Scott Gibb. And just as I was reading out the 11s, the rain has started to come back a bit and it's starting to drizzle again. Still, it's very light, very moderate. Certainly not. It's even lighter than it was before. Right now, in the Coventry Oval area, around the Diamond Creek Trail, which runs around Coventry Oval, as usual on a Saturday morning to afternoon, there are joggers that run past and young families that bring their kids over to play in the park. And so far, there hasn't been any difference. Joggers are happy to run through this rain. Young families with little kids are happy to play in this rain. So this rain is nothing serious, and this new comeback rain is even more lighter than it was we saw just 15 minutes ago. And so maybe this is the last gasp of the rain before we see it go for good. Now, unfortunately, today we do not have Damien Haydos Hayden. He has gotten other duties, which is why he's not here with us, and so I'm by myself. But Haydos did take the time to actually write me a memo giving me some tips on what to expect from Riverside in the Barclay Shield. And so he has identified 3 players to look out for and to expect to do well today in this game. So those 3 players are Nathan Bragg, who is a very talented opener, who is one of the you will expect him to spend a lot of time out in the middle, but making a lot of runs. Then we have Gedge. We have Nicholas Gedge, and he has been earmarked as a pace bowler who is going to be expected to take a lot of wickets. And as you can see on your screens, the ground staff here at Coventry Oval are currently just sweeping away the water and possibly some of the debris that has been building up on the pitch this morning, and then they'll be able to paint the lines of the popping crease and the return crease, and then everything will be available and ready to play by the time 1 o'clock comes around. And the third player, which Haydos has earmarked as someone being of note, someone that we should be paying attention to, is Elliot Smale, who, according to Haydos' words, is a club legend, will probably bat at 4, is one of the highest run scorers in the history of the DVCA and mycricket.com.au. And so if anyone is going to be able to score big piles of runs here at Coventry Oval in this round, it will likely be Smale. So those are the teams, those are the picks. So now we are going to be we've got the team, so now we just have to worry about playing. Now I said this before. I said this when I went through the Diamond Creek team, which is that we've obviously got a bunch of their talented fast bowlers that played in the 2020 game just a few nights ago, Campbell, Campitelli and Hanson, and then others like the captain Adams. But the fact that they have 3 players who would normally play for the 2s coming into the 1s suggests that there are some gaps that have emerged coming towards the end of the home and away season, which need to be filled with these players. Now, whether or not this is actually a weakness that is there's a vulnerability that they can be exposed by, or whether this is a managerial question of tactics and organising players in a particular way, blooding in other players, giving them a go here and there, making sure that they're prepared for the finals if they do get called up. We'll just have to wait and find out. But as far as Riverside's team is concerned, they look like they're 100% on top of their game. They know what they're doing. They understand what they want to achieve, and so it's just a matter of them actually going out and doing it. Certainly Riverside are not just coming in as favourites in this match, but they would probably be expected to do to outplay Diamond Creek in most areas. That's because they're so far ahead of the rest of the competition, and so it's just not going to be a surprise if they're actually able to do it today. Alright, let's take a break now, and when we come back we'll have the players walking onto the ground to start the game. This is Channel 8, the local sports network. I am Chukka Wilson. Let's take a break now. We'll come back. We've got the players walking onto the field.
Fun day in Kilkenny in September of the year. Our hurling boys were coming home from Cork and we did cheer. The people filled the streets at night all wearing black and gold. They looked like giant bumblebees all swarming down the road. Sing up Kilkenny, up the Cats, hooray the boys are coming back. So raise a flag up to the sky, wave that gold and black. Well, the town square was a buzzing as the train rolled into town. You couldn't move an inch cause there were people all around. Our three-time hurling champions were the Fairtown's pride and joy, desired by the girls and emulated by the boys. Sang up Kilkenny, up the Cats, hooray the boys are coming back. So raise a flag up to the sky, wave that gold and black. Don't you try to find a pint at any local pub. Running out of whiskey and they're running out of rum. But the crack is flowing freely and the spirit's running high. If I see an empty bar stool, then I'll meet you by and by. Sing up Kilkenny, up the Cats, hooray the boys are coming back. So raise a flag up to the sky, wave that gold and black. Next morning all the streets were thinning out. The celebration's over but nobody had a doubt. Though the town will become quiet and the crowds will disappear, we'll be waiting for that train again about this time next year. Sing up Kilkenny, up the Cats, hooray the boys are coming back. So raise a flag up to the sky, wave that gold and black. Sing up Kilkenny, up the Cats, hooray the boys are coming back. So raise a flag up to the sky, wave
two umpires have called over the two captains. So there is the captain of Riverside already there, and now Josh is coming over as well. So the two captains are of course Joshua Adams and Daniel Hohen. So now here we go. Here's the toss. just discussing some of the, I assume some of the technical stuff. The housekeeping stuff, and there we go. That's the toss. Alright then, so we're just gonna have to wait and see which team is doing what. Until then, we'll just have to be patient. It's not long to go now before the ball one. It's currently 10 minutes to 1. So we are not far away from seeing the beginning of play. So it's only going to be a matter of the next few minutes before the players go get changed, go get their stuff on, and then we see them go out onto the field to begin play. Two umpires seem to be satisfied with the situation. Alright, let's quickly take a short break, and then when we come back we'll have the players walking onto the field. And at long last, the time is currently 7 minutes past 1 o'clock, and as you can see, the Riverside team are coming out onto the middle, onto the ground. For what looks to be the pre-game huddle. Just giving the final word before they go out onto the field to play. I'm not seeing anything from the umpires or from Diamond Creek yet, so we might as well just leave them to it. There's nothing really interesting about watching Riverside players have a huddle, so let's take another quick skip, and then when we come back we'll find the Diamond Creek players and the umpires walking onto the field. Alright, so now the Riverside players have finished their huddle and they're walking onto the pitch, and at the same time we see the umpires walking on as well. Still haven't seen the Diamond Creek batsman coming out, so up there we go. So with Diamond Creek batting first, this will give us a good opportunity to see what their attitude will be, because they know that because of their position, because if they win this game they're in with a chance of getting into third place, and playing in the 2v3 semi-final rather than the 3v4, the 1v4. But if they lose this game, then they do put themselves at risk of actually not making into the finals if they happen to then lose the final game of the season against Epping next round in 2 weeks' time. So if they bat aggressively or they bat defensively, we'll know what their attitude is towards this game, whether they're trying to win it or whether they're trying to just play a good performance so that they don't lose outright. Maybe they're trying to win outright. Who knows? But let's see what their attitude is. Alright, when we take a break, let's take a break now. When we get back, we've got ball 1.
When I drop a plate, I sweep the shards of glass into the trash. When I pop an E-string, I can change a new one in a flash. But when you break, I'm stuck without a clue. I never learned to fix a thing like you. When the server's down, your pseudo-S bin reboot in a shell. When the market tanks, you call your broker, tell him sell, sell, sell. But when you're down, I don't know what to do. I never learned to fix a thing like you. I'll engineer to find out what I need to repair. But I will try and dry your eyes, fix the scattered parts. Yeah, I will learn to mend your troubled heart. When I cut my hand, I grab the Neosporin from the shelf. When I stub my toe, I curse in flowing verses to myself. But when you hurt, I'm stuck without a clue. I never learned to fix a thing like you. When a faucet leaks, I tighten up the gasket with a wrench. When the toilet's stuck, I plunge it down before the floor gets drenched. But when you cry, I don't know what to do. I never learned to fix a thing like you. I'll endeavor to find out what I need to repair. But I will try and dry your eyes and fix the scattered parts. Yeah, I will learn to mend your troubled heart. Yeah, I will learn to mend your troubled heart. I know I'm slow, got so much to learn. You'll see, I'll be the place where you can turn. I'll lend an ear to find out what I need to repair. But I will try and dry your eyes and fix the scattered parts. Yeah, I will learn to mend your troubled heart. I'll lend an ear to find out what I need to repair. But I will try and dry your eyes and fix the scattered parts. Yeah, I will learn to mend your troubled heart. Yeah, I will learn to mend your troubled heart.
I am Was Judward, and these are my GNU Shats. And this is a song from our upcoming album, International Songs of Mystique and Acclaim, and it's called Baba Ganoush.
Baba Ganoush is the hooch that I am looking for. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch, so I am cooking more. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch that we are looking for. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch, so we are looking more. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch that we are looking for. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch, so we are looking more. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch that we are looking for. Baba Ganoush is the hooch. Baba Ganoush is the hooch, so we are cooking more. Baba Ganoush is the hooch.
Thank you.
Violet is a pretty girl. Her legs are long and her hair is curled, and her smile's been known to make grown men go stupid. But if you look below the skin and you find out where that lady's been, you'll be sure to stay the hell away from Cupid.
Violet wants it her way or the highway, but she'll never stay, she's on her way. Violet's going home.
Back in time when the story began, and Violet found herself a man who wouldn't try to boss that girl around. Well, she got bored of being adored and decided that he was a spineless nerd, and she kicked that guy right out on the ground.
Violet wants it her way or the highway, but she'll never stay, she's on her way. Violet's going home.
Well, Billy was a football jock who really had a massive clock. She threw him out because it ran too quick. Well, Skip was just a good old guy. They fell in love in mid-July. She got rid of him in August because his name was Skip.
Violet wants it her way or the highway, but she'll never stay, she's on her way. Violet's going home. She's an outlaw, but she's never been arrested. She'll chew you up and spit you out before you've been digested.
Well, don't you try to fix that chick, cause she's got a bag that's full of tricks. So what the hell, you might as well just leave that girl in her place. Cause Violet knows just what to do when you try to tighten up her screws. She'll reach inside her purse and grab her mace. My face!